enhances productivity, et cetera, people should think about AI that way. Companies, of course, are going to adopt them. But I think as an investor, that's not the right way to think about it. The right way to think about it is what's going to be their return on investment from investing in AI and adopting AI. And I think that's a much tougher one for people to grapple with, because return on investment is a kind of a more complicated manner than simply saying, are you adopting AI?
Richard, you've seen a good number of cycles. They come and they go. Some of the characteristics are similar. They're not always the
All right, so looking good here.
whether or not in your mind.
Okay, S&P is ripping here. Okay, nice move on the S&P 500.
Fervor in this market that rivals what happened back in 1999, or not.
Well, right. Well, thank you, Don, for saying that I've gone through many cycles. It's a nice way of saying I'm old. But I think, yes, I think we are in some kind of speculative fervor. And I think for different parts of the market, we could argue, are they...
Whenever the financial media can't explain things.
Risk. I think that's very hard to find in any market right now. Certainly hard to find in equities where private client beta is about 1.5. It's hard to find in cryptos when people are trading any crypto they can get a hold of. People are using leverage through options. Credit spreads are very narrow. It's hard to say that there's not a lot of speculative fervor in the marketplace. And I think when you get that speculative fervor, people tend to forget fundamentals. They become momentum investors, and it's momentum at any price. And that usually is not the right thing to do. Fundamentals ultimately do drive the market. And so in our portfolios at RBA, what we're trying to do is focus on those fundamentals and go back to the tried and true things like quality and dividends and things like that. It's so boring, Dom, but I think it is the right thing ultimately to do.
All right, so if we were to subscribe to your philosophy about investing, given the context around markets and valuations, what exactly then becomes the places in your client portfolios?
Okay, nice follow through, nice pop there.
That momentum tech trade.
Right. I think, Dom, there's two major themes in our portfolios right now. Major theme number one is dividends, what I just said a second ago, and that transcends industry and sector and country, by the way. I think people have forgotten the power of compounding dividends. Since NASDAQ's inception in 1971, about 50 years, the Dow Jones Utility Index has pretty much kept up with NASDAQ. Not right now because of the Mag 7 effect. But over 50
that was a nice little pop there. All right, see if we can't get more out of this. All right, so Trace is confirming what we're seeing. Okay, S&P 500. You can see the dealer hedge flows. Okay, 99%, 99%. Okay, a lot of 99 percentiles overhead now. 67.45, 67.50.
They sell for 30 to 50% cheaper. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Europe has been cheaper forever and a day, but they didn't have the growth story, and now they're starting to have the growth story, and I think that's a big difference.
All right, so look beyond tech, look outside all the borders as well. Richard Bernstein, thank you very much. We'll see you soon, sir.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, coming up on the show, as the poem goes, nothing gold can stay. But does that include this year's rally in gold prices? We're going to check the charts with B of A's head of technical research coming up next to see if all that glitters can remain gold.
Both of those negative gamma levels, both negative gammas are 99 percentiles right here. So we're probably going to run into some resistance. If we get above that, we could see a little bit of fireworks. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Okay. So not a bad day. Not a bad day. Into the evening session, we got hedging flows, bullish. We got the S&P futures popping up. 5, 15, 30, 60-minute are all on buy signals. 5, 15, 30, 60 minutes are all on buy signals. The 60-minute joined the party at the 11 o'clock hour, straight up 11. Okay, so we continue to chop people up in that last little range that we saw. There's a 1-minute chart. So if I switch to 5 or 15, you can see this was just kind of narrow range. Now we pop through this range. Okay. So going back, let's go to the 5 minute. Okay, 5 minute and see if we can't get more out of this. Okay. A, B, C. High or low there. Okay, looking good. Can we follow through? All depends on hedge flows. We got to keep an eye on hedge flows. That's the dealer. You're looking at the dealer's screen, the reaction, the dealer, the impact to the dealer. Okay, so you're looking at the purple. That means that the dealers are long, which means they have sold you. You're short, they're long. Okay, so GEX is purple, dealers are long, market is short. So if we get above 67.60, we could see some fireworks because these shorts are going to have to cover. And then the dealer will be able to close their positions and we could see a pop to the upside. Okay, so looking for a higher low and a higher high. Okay, so we're looking for more. Looking good. I hope everyone's having a good day. It's a good day on this side of the United States here in Myrtle Beach. It's nice and sunny, but it's a nice fall day. Chilly in the evening, about 65 degrees in the evenings. Sitting out last night, I was doing putting together the watch list, sitting out having a cigar and a once in a while beer, a Modelo, doing the watch list, watching over the golf course as the sun set. Beautiful last night. Very thankful for everything that I have, our family. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm your host, Cousin Vinny, coming to you from theclosingprint.com. It is 1:30 on the East Coast, the best coast, the coast with the most. No hurricanes this year. No hurricanes. Don't want to jinx it. Home Depot continues to move lower in response to that, so I got to close this position. No, I took the calls. Okay, so I have the calls. Calls, those are down. Calls are down. Okay, looking for a bounce. Maybe, okay, here we go. Here we go with the S&P. Looking for another pop to the upside.
Here and here. That's when the 14-week RSI was stretched well above 80, which is a very overbought market. And that is where we are right here, going into psychological resistance of about $4,000 an ounce on gold.
So is the thinking here that the previous historical patterns of price movements now indicate that we could be going back towards this?
They have nothing to talk about this week. It's so funny. If you can clue into this whole, daily, what do they talk about? Are the markets like overbought? The shutdown last week, recession, inflation. Okay, so we're getting a little bounce. So cluing into what they have to talk about this week, we only have Red Book and we have FOMC minutes. Other than that, it's a pretty calm week as far as news is concerned. Shutdown is still in effect. What's it, day 6 on the shutdown?
All right, so let's take the gold prices now and go over to the Bitcoin side of things, because this has been about, let's go 10 years first, right?
Okay, shorts covered a little bit there.
And see whether or not we are seeing some movement, because what we are seeing is a bit of a kind of almost consolidation.
Some profit taking at the highs.
How significant is this on a 10-year basis? So
let's see, what's junk bonds doing? Junk is trying to hold above the 50-day, so that's a risk on indicator, neutral to risk on. IWM, small caps are a risky asset class when it's moving higher and trending like it is since August, breaking out. IWM is telling you risk on. 10-year yield is did bounce. It's inside the Bollinger Bands. We're near fair value at the 50-day. US dollar, if the US dollar is moving lower,
so if we look at this, that means we're kind of filling this area.
that's good for holding in this area, or lower is good for the companies that make products and services and sell them overseas. U.S. companies that sell products and services overseas. This is good. The U.S. dollar staying down here for the last 12 weeks, 16 weeks. Bitcoin making new highs today. Bitcoin, that's risky assets. Okay, Coinbase. Coinbase looks good. Oklo, the nukes looking good. Mentioned that in the weekend video. Nukes, SMR, Nano Nuclear. Wow, look at Nano Nuclear. Holy smokes.
Take a look at all of these other points. If you look at that dark line over here, it seems to act as a base or a bouncing off point, and you're seeing that again right here. That's correct. So could we see a move and exactly what we
Okay, we're up 22%.
We're trying to make the argument that we could retrace roughly a third to a half of that move. So that would be
Nano Nuclear. Tell me I didn't sell it. Please. Oh, I sold it. Oh. Ah, well, hopefully the people in the trading room are still in Nano. I have NUKZ. I have NUKZ and Oklo only. Okay. NUKZ is at the highs. Look at the volume. That's telling you institutions are buying. Oklo, nice move today. Oklo is up 12, almost 13%. Okay, a little bit of profit taking over here a couple of weeks ago into last week, but we're starting to move up. I think they said they were talking about it's going to take 4 or 5 nuclear reactors to power some of the things that OpenAI is doing, something like that. They were talking about it earlier on CNBC, I believe. It would take the equivalent of 3 or 4 nuclear reactors. So that's right in their ballpark. Oklo, Nano Nuclear, SMR. Lightbridge. I know, Tony, you like Lightbridge. Lightbridge. Okay, nice little pop today. Applied Optoelectronics. Okay, that one's breaking out. Tony, if you sold premium, you'd probably do really well here on Opto if you were into that. Let me see AAOI if I'm going to sell some premium here. AAOI. AAOI. Let's see. 30 days out would be 7 November. What about 21? That's 46 days. Sell some puts. The 30 put. That's right underneath price. No, I don't want to sell it that close. Yeah, premium's not really worth it. 25. What about 25.20? 25 is an 18 delta. Sell a vertical. 25.20. What did that go for? $1. Okay, let's go for a buck. If you sell the 25 November 25.20 put credit for Opto, 25 would be right there at the 50-day. That would be a retrace back to the 50-day. You could wait if it pulls back at all. Sell some. Let me save this order. Let me save it because I might do this. Might sell a 25.20 put vertical credit. Applied optical looks good. Okay. Futures still looking good. Still on buy signals, 5, 15, 30, 60. Okay, so it looks like a little pop, a little fade there. More than likely shorts got taken out. Took out some stops here. Coming back to test it. Let me just turn on Lux Algo because we're probably not seeing some buy order blocks here. Yeah, buy order block right there. You see it? Boom. Okay, let me go to the 1 minute chart. Okay, buy order block right there at C. Okay, this looks good. Looks like we're going to see more upside. Let's go check Trace. Trace should confirm. Okay, Trace is moving higher. Hedge flows.
All right, welcome Welcome back. What we're showing you right now is the market state of play. It's a mixed one. The Dow is the underperformer so far today, but the S&P and the NASDAQ moving to the upside to the tune of 0.5 to 2/3%. We're seeing some record high levels overall for key parts of the market that are kind of part of that so-called broadening out trade. The U.S. 10-year note yield is currently at 4.16%, so still in kind of like that overall mix with regard to that sweet spot for the 10-year yield. Now let's send it over to Julia Borston for a CNBC News update. Good afternoon, Julia.
Well, Dom, Illinois sued the Trump administration today to block the deployment of National Guard members to Chicago. In the suit, the state alleges the deployment, quote, infringes on the state's sovereignty and right to self-governance. The filing comes just hours after a judge temporarily blocked the administration from sending National Guard members to Portland, Oregon. Authorities charged former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez with felony battery today, according to a court affidavit. Sanchez was stabbed after he allegedly attacked a truck driver in Indianapolis over the weekend. The one-time Jets star was initially charged with several misdemeanors before facing a charge of felony battery, which comes with up to 6 years in prison.
Hedge flows on the S&P 500 are still rising. You can see that here. I'm not making this shit up. Excuse my French. I'm not making this up. Those hedge flows are rising, telling you to look for and see if we can get rejected here. But if we take these levels out, the dealer is short. The markets are long. Okay. Dealer is short. The red indicating the dealer is short. That means the market is long, up to 67.55.
Integration with ChatGPT, sending those shares higher by as much as 5% intraday. Meanwhile, Figma shares popping by about 16%.
Okay, what's AMD doing right now? AMD.
ChatGPT. So keep an eye on those big moves on the heels of OpenAI's big developer day. We'll be right back with more on Dev Day after this.
Okay, AMD. Okay, holding up fairly well. AMD, that's fine. Okay, I know I'm killing your eyes going back and forth between black and white backgrounds. Okay, see if we can't follow through. We got the 5, 15, 30, 60-minute time frames are all on buy signals, futures. Tick cumulative is drifting a bit lower, so they might be selling. It looks like they're selling into strength for now. Okay, so but it is bullish. Looking for a push a little bit more higher. Okay.
At Schwab, how I choose to invest is up to me.
Exactly. I can invest and trade on my own.
Yes, and I let them manage some investments for
Home
me. Too.
Depot
Let's move on, shall we?
drifting lower.
I'll get out here.
Where are you going?
Schwab.
Okay, what's Tesla doing? Okay, there goes Microsoft.
What moves markets? Download the Schwab Network app and stream live coverage wherever you are.
Microsoft going.
Morning Movers brings traders the biggest headlines to start the day, from volatile overnight.
Okay, Microsoft. Wow, look at the move on Microsoft. Holy smokes! Microsoft getting juiced here. Microsoft. Big move on Microsoft's part. Let me see. Do I have any Microsoft I want to take off here?
Welcome back to Extra Investing. I'm now joined by Diane King Hall, the host of Morning Movers.
Microsoft.
Discussion on Tesla. Tesla, I guess, got a little jealous. AMD was stealing all the headlines. They had to put something out to stay in the news. What's going on here, Diane?
To be fair, they did
Snowflake on the move.
Indications of something to come out over the weekend on Sunday. So the AMD headline hitting this morning and taking some of the shine off, but not
Tesla.
all of the shine
We
off
got the
Tesla, because
reveal
this year's
tomorrow. We'll find out what the deal is with
it looks like this teaser video of,
with Tesla.
potentially what could be another vehicle. And there's been all this talk that, there's a potentially more affordable version of the Model Y coming. And we've seen indications of that before. So it's just this video where it shows some headlights on the social media platform Twitter X. There's also been this another video where it had the date 10/7. That's October 7th. That's tomorrow. Shares are rising on the news. Now, Tesla hasn't said, okay, what this announcement is about. It does remind me of the times that Apple makes these announcements that tease the next version version of the iPhone, and we kind of know what's coming because we've seen it time after time again. Look, this could be the trigger, a catalyst to boost sales further for Tesla. No doubt, there's no argument it had a very, very strong quarter, but some say this most recent quarter where they had record sales, a lot of that had to do with.
Just remember, we're up 10 weeks in a row, so wouldn't be surprised for us to pull back. Now, I've been saying that since, week 4 up, week 5 up, week 6 up, 7, 8, 9 weeks up. Now we're into 10 weeks higher, and just looks great. S&P 500. Okay, S&P. Okay.
So, for those who are looking for that option, like the idea of an EV, this may be the answer that Tesla is coming to the table with. And the way investors are obviously responding to this, with enthusiasm, cheering this, with shares up more than 4%. So the gain today now brings Tesla to a double-digit advance for the year, and it starts to put the rest of those questions about where is Tesla when it comes to the Max 7.
No doubt, Diane. What I will say, and this is kind of back to the Steve Jobs Apple days, and it was a much easier.
Supermicro, of course. I've been watching Supermicro for a place to add. I won't add it at this point. Looking for a little dip to the 9 EMA. Was hoping that maybe we'll flag a couple more days, but the gap up is fine too. SoFi came down to the 50-day moving average and bounced. SoFi, this was on the watch list, looking for the 50-day to hold, looking for that follow through. It would be great to see a bullish candle tomorrow. We can add stochastic, RSI, MACD, all turning. This is looking very bullish on SoFi. A lot of people are watching SoFi as well out there in social media land. Jason from Three Peaks talking SoFi this morning. Many of you in the trading room talking SoFi.
Anybody in the world that can command an audience on the snap of a finger better than Taylor Swift, and she proved that again this weekend, just announcing this release party.
Tired of Taylor Swift. Great. She did great, but don't really. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. You see me at a Taylor Swift concert. That'd be so funny. Microsoft, looking good. Microsoft still pushing. Look at the volume on Microsoft. Microsoft, Supermicro, Oklo. Okay, Oklo pulling back a little bit. MicroStrategy, MSTR, Bitcoin, tagging to 125, almost 126,000 level before getting rejected. MicroStrategy, Coinbase, a little dip. Okay, Coinbase. I don't think they finished with Coinbase. I would think that Coinbase is probably going to be higher. Right now, we're just pretty extended on Coinbase. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little flag. I have some CONL options. Okay, so the pullback, I'd be looking, if I don't have a position, I'd be looking to start a position. CONL on the pullback. Okay, I have a 50-55 call. CONL for November. 50-55. Okay, so 50. We need to push through 50. Okay, that looks good. Microsoft's still going. Amazon getting into the act now. Amazon. Google just off the high of the day. Got Meta turning the corner after that shellacking on Friday into the close. Meta, hammer on Meta. Meta, hammer on the daily. Meta with a hammer on the daily. This could be what we need to see for a push back up to the highs. Okay, S&P 500, we're looking for those hedge flows to continue pointing upward. Okay. Okay, we came back to the breakout zone. Okay, we just came right back to the breakout zone. Now we're pushing higher. Okay, fair value gaps right there. Trace, we want to see that continue to push higher. This is confirming what we're looking for. That purple line still moving higher. That's dealer hedge flows are bullish. 67.50, 67.55. I got a feeling I'm going to run into some resistance here. If we get above 67.55, 67.60, we could get some fireworks. I'm not expecting it, but if we did get above it, that would be something to watch for. Microsoft's still going. Oracle hanging out, spinning top. Oracle spinning top right at the 21-day moving average. Oracle. Okay, Oracle spinning top right at the 20-day, 9 and 21-day are mingling spaghetti right in this area. Bollinger Band's coming together. I'm just expecting price to consolidate in this area. I sold some call credit spreads overhead. I'm not bearish, but I am selling premium. All right, looking for a little pop to the upside here. S&P looking like it's going to take out 60, 70, 67.40, 67.50 now. Okay, 67.50.
Big home builders going. Dinah Oling joins us now with the story and the steps the administration
Ooh.
might or could take, Diana, to solve this problem.
Yeah, that's right, Don. President Trump posted that the home builders, quote, have to start building homes. They're sitting on 2 million empty lots, he said, a record. I'm asking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to get big home builders going and by doing so, help restore the American dream.
Okay, so if he's going to induce some builder action here, okay, that's turning back up, building a little cup pattern. After trending for several months, we had a little bit of a consolidation on home builders. So if you're thinking about it, KBH, KB Homes, Toll Brothers, Pulte Homes, Lennar, Beazer, TriPoint. Okay, so those look good. S&P looks like it wants to keep going. About to break out here. S&P is about to break out. Tapping the highs again.
And that gets us to, okay, what could Fannie and Freddie really do? They can't lower mortgage rates. So the next option
We're going to break out. We're still on a buy signal. 5, 15, 30, 60 are still on buy signals.
But that ended in the worst foreclosure crisis since the Great Depression for several reasons. Now, most builders have said that they really want the government to pressure states into easing regulations because, Don, that would make building houses faster and cheaper.
All right, so there's the solution, possibly, hypothetically. Dinah, thank you very much for that. Now, our next guest says there's very little the government can actually do to stimulate new construction housing activity, and the new tariffs on things like lumber and cabinets only create an extra hurdle for those home builders. For more, we are now joined by John Lovallo, U.S. home builders analyst at UBS. John, you're an insider. You know a lot of the insiders in this business. Diana's report paints a picture that maybe says we can't really see that much being done by the government. Does that click with what you see?
Thanks so much for having me. Yes, I agree with Diana that the biggest bottleneck is at the local and municipal level. It's getting a raw piece of dirt ready to build upon. And so, yes, the builders have a lot of lots that they own or control, but you know what? They're not all ready to build upon, and they are still running into those roadblocks on a daily basis. Now, could the government step in and have things like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac subsidize mortgages? Perhaps could they push for the next Fed president to, bring back QE? Things like that are all sort of in the realm of possibility. But from an actual fundamental home building standpoint, there's very little in our view that the government can actually do at the local and municipal level.
All right, so if that is the case, from a regulatory standpoint, you might be able to ease certain types of restrictions or certain types of parameters on building on some of those lots and homes. Yeah, Diana also pointed out that you could possibly ease standards on lending and borrowers and whatnot. Is there a right answer to getting this housing market unlocked that goes beyond what the Fed does with interest rates?
Can we
So I
pop
think
here?
It'd be very difficult to ease the local and municipal restrictions. Think of this. Think of NIMBYism, right? Everybody wants affordable housing. Everyone is gung ho for it. But you know what? They don't want it in their backyard. There's a lot of
Okay, hedge flows. Got to keep an eye on those hedge flows. We're up against that 67, 50 zone just overhead.
Can they actually do outside of bringing mortgage rates down? It's very challenging. You know, if they could reduce restrictions on things like tariffs, I do believe that would be very powerful. That's something you mentioned at the top of the program. Is now we have close to $8,800 per home in tariffs that are going on into a new build at some point here in the future. That is another hurdle that the builders need to deal with. And so, look, our view is the builders have actually done the very rational thing. That's
Oklo, UNH looking good. UNH.
in certain markets out there. And so, in order to impair the market or to push on that theoretical string, they've kind of restrained themselves to clear the decks and get ready for
S&P
the season.
6750. I don't know. We're going to get above that, folks. Probably not going to get above it.
Right now, are there certain builders who, from a portfolio real estate geography perspective, perhaps, are better situated to take advantage of that kind of hypothetically robust spring selling season that's coming up in the next 6 to 9 months?
We like to group at large. Look, I think that next year is going to be a really good year for home building, much better than what we've seen. I think consumer confidence is stabilizing, inventory is stabilizing. Maybe just as importantly, interest rates are stabilizing. We're at 6.38 on the 30-year. Would I like to see that come down more? Of course. But you know what? At these levels, the builders can operate and they know what they're dealing with. And the buyer.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? UNH.
Is really good. It's just, it's going to take a little bit of time for things to kind of fall into place here. But all kind of arrows are pointing up as we move into next year.
And is housing, John, before we let you go, is housing and owning a home in America, to the president's point on his social media post, is it still the American dream? Or are the secular dynamics and demographic shifts making it so that the rental market or not owning is the more attractive option?
No, it very much still is the American dream. And there was a thought process maybe 6 years ago that the millennials and some of the newer generations were going to be an owning kind of generation where they weren't going to buy cars. They were just going to Uber. They were just going to rent houses. Turns out as they've reached kind of milestones in life, like marriage, children, things of that nature that necessitate more space, they're very much like every other generation. And to answer your question from before, which I bypassed on which builders are best positioned, we still like the entire group, but the entry-level first-time builders like a Meritage Home and a D.R. Horton, in our opinion, are best set up.
All right, there's the top calls there from John Lovallo at UBS, housing analyst. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon, sir.
All right, John, take care.
All right, coming up on the show, global leadership changes in the markets. We're going to get into those and what they mean for U.S. stocks in an international edition of Rapid Fire. That's coming up next.
Blast this to the upside. That'd be so cool. S&P. Let's see what they get going here. S&P 500. Core Weave. S&P. That'd be so cool if they popped this to the upside. S&P 500. SPX. We're on 10 weeks. I know I keep talking same game, but if we continue to see this kind of strength, I can't help but take a little bit more off. Into strength positions that I have. Just reducing exposure. Hedging flows continue to rise. Hedging flows continue to rise. We're still on a 5, 15, 30, 60-minute buy signal. Started off the week with 14 bullish indicators, 4 neutral and 2 bearish. Futures are still looking good. Okay.
All right, welcome back. We want to show you a couple of the names that are moving as this Open AI Developers Conference is underway. HubSpot jumping as Sam Altman mentions the company during the presentation. Also, Salesforce shares on the
HubSpot.
rise as OpenAI demonstrates a Slack integration with
Yeah,
OpenAI's
not interested.
engine. So
Not
lots of
interested.
stocks moving on this. Keep an eye on those. Let us catch you up on a few international stories that are on our radar. It's time for rapid fire. And here to help us break all of it down is Seema Modi. And first up, Seema, France. It's been a tough state right now. It needs a new prime minister again. The country's fifth in less than 2 years, resigning just weeks after his appointment. That sent French stocks lower and yields higher as the government still has to pass a 2026 budget. Can they get their act together?
This is the shortest lived premiership in the history of France. The prime minister was there for 27 days, and now France has had 4 different prime ministers in the span of 12 months. The issue at hand, is...
It's 2 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm your host, Cousin Benny, coming to you from theclosingprint.com. 2 o'clock straight up. October the 6th, Monday. It's a beautiful day outside. Looking forward to spending a little time outside with the family. S&P. Hedge flows. A little hook right there. A little profit taking looks like.
Morningstar now expects this country to have the highest fiscal deficit of any country across the Eurozone this year.
A lot of folks looking at that yield differential between German and French debt right now as well. All right, next up, we've got the surging Nikkei after the ruling Liberal Democratic Party chose Sanae Takaichi as its head over the weekend. Now, Takaichi is an advocate of Abenomics, reducing market expectations of a BOJ rate hike later on this month. Japanese equities did close higher by nearly 5% on the news, while the yen and long.
What is silver and gold doing? Silver.
So an interesting dynamic playing out.
Okay, still pushing higher.
And this stock market in Japan has been on
GLD.
a hot streak, Don, right? It's already up
GLD.
20% this year after gaining 24% last year. Add to
Still.
that, now a new prime minister
Wow.
who is pro-growth,
GLD.
anti-immigration, and
The gold and silver stocks in the weekend video we talked about. Those all looking good. AEM. AEM. Still trending. AEM. AU. Harmony. GFI. Goldfields. All of these are looking good. CDE Core. Core Mining. Newmont Mining. Freeport McMoran. Coming off the low. Freeport might not be a bad idea. Freeport for metals and mining, as well as rare earths. The rare earths like MP, looking for that to push higher. I did take some MP earlier today. MP. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I thought I did. Okay, well, I was looking at MP. I'd like to do something with MP. S&P looks like it's going to break out some more. Watch the hedge flows. Looking for that to turn up. Hedging flows still bullish. Higher highs, higher lows. 5, 15, 30, 60-minute futures are still on buy signals.
Another massive OpenAI money and power deal lifting big tech and the NASDAQ higher. Welcome to Power Lunch, everybody. I am Brian Sullivan, and what a day of news. AMD shares, you might have heard about this, surging as OpenAI comes calling. But is this kind of the same money just
Google.
swimming in circles? And where exactly is
Okay, S&P breaking higher.
coming from? We're going to dig
Okay, we're going to get some shorts to cover here. Probably got some shorts overhead, some stops overhead.
Banking deals in years will change the money landscape. The always fiery Mike Mayo is here on set. Talk about it. And it's not just big tech popping today. Gold and Bitcoin, oh my, both at all-time highs as oil moves on another OPEC output change. We will hit it all. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you. Hope you're having a great Monday wherever you may be. We're going to begin with, of course, another deal rocking the AI and big technology landscape. ChatGPT parent OpenAI and its boss, Sam Altman, announcing what could be a 10% stake in semiconductor maker AMD. It's also a potential deal for up to 6 gigawatts of data center chip power, with the first gigawatt, which is about 750,000 homes worth of electricity, coming online sometime in the second half of next year. This is the latest in a series of monster mega deals that OpenAI has made with AMD, NVIDIA, Oracle, and others. And it's not hyperbole.
Meta,
This right now,
looking a little bit. Meta with a hammer. That's not a bad area, actually, Meta. Let's take another look at Meta. I didn't do anything when I first mentioned this hammer. That looks really strong. Volume is almost surpassing Friday's volume. We had a nasty day on Friday. Let me see. Let me buy some Meta out in time. Meta, give myself some time. Meta. Okay, let's go out to say January. Let's see. They're still fairly expensive. Can we get back to 750?
Nuclear power plants are currently being constructed in the United States, McKinsey? 0. You know how many new natural gas plants are currently under construction in the United States right now? 0. There are some add-ons. There are some nuclear things in development. The nuclear stocks, by the way, today, we should show them. They're moving in a big way. Is anybody out there questioning, not the B word, the bubble aspect of this, but potentially where's all this coming from?
Would you say the power or the money? Because both of those are big questions here. Really, this event is about not the compute, but it's about the 4 million developers who are around the world who are building on top of ChatGPT's bones. What we just heard from Sam Altman is that they're opening up ChatGPT and they're making it possible for any developer to create an app inside the ChatGPT ecosystem to then apply to become a part of an app store that they're calling the directory. But to your point, Brian, in order to power all of this, they need to have more compute. And so Greg Brockman, OpenAI president, this morning saying that there are several updates to ChatGPT and there are also new products in-house that they aren't launching because they don't have sufficient compute. I also talked to their head of infrastructure, and to your point, he said nuclear is a part of solving for the equation, but it's not enough. So that's why they're talking to grids around the world and trying to bring legacy assets back online, spin back up old gas turbines that haven't been used in years.
Yeah, and that's what they're talking about doing, McKinsey, is reopening up some nuclear plants, reopening up some older gas turbines, adding on some wind, adding on some solar. I totally get it. But also just talk to us about the timelines here, because the AMD deal has that first gigawatt done the second half of next year. So that's 1 year out. So it's potential, right? When you add all these things in, 1 gigawatt here, 1 year there, we're looking out 10 plus
Meta
years,
looking very strong here. Meta coming off the low, taking off to the upside. I could have bought some earlier, but you wouldn't have seen a hammer then. You would have just seen a doji. Now we got a nice hammer. Looking good. The volume picking up. Meta just continues to grind higher. Microsoft still going. Microsoft looking good. Okay, at the highs. I like Microsoft mainly because it's above the 50-day, and now it's starting to show signs of the breakout, which we were looking for. Above these volume by price bands, there's not a whole lot of resistance to upside movement.
Because remember, there are other AI players. There's Perplexity, there's Anthropic, there's Google's Gemini, there's Grok. Of course, Microsoft is partnered with OpenAI, so we'll leave them out of it. But there are at least 4, if not more. How much is this, you think, Mac, designed to kind of block these others out because those other ones have totally separate money and power demands.
I think that's a big part of this equation because when you talk about a player like Gemini, it's got the Google ecosystem behind them. Google Workspace is a great way to reach wide swaths of potential customers. And OpenAI doesn't have the same ecosystem effect, which is why they're hosting something like a Dev Day to get more applications built on top of them. That's something that they are very good at, being at the forefront of a consumer site.
Okay, hedge flows, hooking again. Little hooker right there. 6750, 6755. That seems to be the area where we'll see resistance. We're at 6745 right now.
And that is the play.
Yeah, I think to paraphrase the great poet philosopher Tony Montana, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the AI data center. Mackenzie Sigalos, thank you. So if you own AMD or any other chip stock, how do you think about this deal? Well, I posed this question on X and LinkedIn today. Quote, with so many massive deals and partnerships in the space, there are really just three primary questions. Where's the money coming from? Where's the power coming from? And how many years or decades will this take? Let's ask our next guest on the semiconductor side. Stacy Rasgon is a top-ranked analyst at Bernstein.
Okay, Meta's still going here. Meta.
A tremendous day for AMD.
Okay, S&P pulling back. Meta breaking out. Okay, nice hammer on the daily.
Those are your biggies for now. And I mean, given the scale that they're talking about, hopefully it's enough for now. Like, I don't know. We had, again, it's NVIDIA might be up to $100 billion, 10 gigawatts. AMD's talking about 6 gigawatts. Income was 10 billion to start like next year. So, I mean, there's a lot flowing at this point.
What do you mean, hopefully it's enough for now?
Well, it's to your questions, right? Where's the money coming from? Where's the power coming from? How long does it take, right? I mean, it's clear that the money's there for now. Like, I mean, there's plenty of folks that seem willing to put money into these kinds of investments right now. The power, I think, is open for debate. There's a lot of power that is going to have to get added to drive this. And in terms of how long it takes, I mean, look, for at least for the AMD one, we kind of know, like, they're targeting this, like, basically over the next 5 years. They gave OpenAI a mortgage. Actually, OpenAI is going to become an investor in AI, and AMD's actually giving OpenAI equity in return for some of this. But those warrants expire in 5 years. So presumably, AMD's looking to drive their build out over the next year. So at least that one.
Yeah, help me understand that because they're getting warrants for 160 million shares of AMD at 1 penny. Basically, they have to have some value associated, but they're not buying AMD stock. So why is AMD stock up? Yeah, why is it up 27% right now?
Well, I mean, it's up because you can sort of run the math on the numbers. The numbers can get very large, right? If you think about the amount of revenue that potentially this could drive over time. The warrant is a little different. It's a little different from NVIDIA. Like, NVIDIA they're going to give them money and get hopefully what will be valuable OpenAI stock in return. AMD is literally just giving them stock. I mean, they're going to give them, it's roughly 10% of the company. AMD's not getting big cash or anything back from that. They're giving them, effectively this equity if they hit specific targets around the build out and also around the AMD share price. But AMD's not getting anything else in return for that except the partnership itself, which I think they're hoping will take video.
Yeah, is there any part of this story that you're starting to worry a little bit maybe overdone, Stacy?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, you think through, Broadcom and NVIDIA and AMD, even like folks like Oracle a few weeks ago that had like a tremendous amount of what they call RPO. They're basically their revenue backlog taken up because of OpenAI. Everything we're seeing.
Okay, Meta, big move on Meta here. All right, so everybody sees it now. Everybody sees it. Meta on the move.
That's going to go. But for now, people are clearly optimistic on this. It's this is going places.
Is it a pretty binary event between, crashing the global economy and taking us to the promised land, or is there some sort of happy middle?
Microsoft is still going here. Microsoft back up to the highs. Microsoft looks like it wants to go. It's going to push through this supply, looks like. Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft looks good. Nice.
Look, I think we are in that period still where people are going to be enthusiastic, and if people are worried about this like ending anytime soon, it's clearly not going to. I mean, the NVIDIA stuff, the Broadcom stuff, the AMD stuff, it doesn't even start shipping for a year, right? And so that means we're not worried about 25. We're not worried about
Google pushing the highs. The New York Fangs are looking a lot better. One of the things I was concerned about, talked about in the weekend video, was that these stocks need to perform. Okay, so we're still consolidating, but we've trended up above the 921 day, and price action is just moving sideways right now. So in order to complete a 10th week up, we definitely need these stocks to perform. We definitely need these to perform. Okay. Okay, so right now it just looks like some consolidation up here.
NASDAQ's up again today. AMD's up 26%.
Okay.
Billions of dollars are being
Stochastic's turning up.
Your take.
MACD is still fading. RSI.
A ton of money that believes.
RSI trying to turn up.
A lot of things happen. So I don't know how quickly.
Okay, we'll see.
It's executed, but there's a strong will and a strong momentum behind this change. And so right now you have to say there's a lot of reality here and a lot of change that's being built today that will start to really impact our day-to-day over the next few years.
I don't doubt the money is there. In fact, I posted on Twitter this morning, or X, I think the money is the easy part, right? The money from here, the money from Europe, the money from the Middle East is tens or hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars effectively going into not one company, but a couple of companies. So how does that impact?
745, 750, 745, 750. Those are 99 percentile strikes. 98, 99, 99.
These guys are the next Google. As rich and as wealthy and as much money as Google makes from search, or bigger, maybe, or bigger even. That this assumes that market.
They keep talking about AI. Is it hype or for real? I mean, seriously.
Still think there's room to the upside for the years ahead.
They have nothing better to talk about, so they're going to talk about,
Think about the government shutdown and when we don't get the CPI. I was just thinking that, as you said, we didn't get the jobs report. We're not going to get the inflation prints either.
bubble.
Let's talk about some of the names. I mean, of course,
Everything's in a bubble. AI. All right, so UNH looks fine. Let me go take a look at some of these names. All right, I'm just going to go down the list. IBD 50, the NASDAQ 100. For now, AMD. AMD fading a bit more, AMD. Okay, AMD did fade a bit more, so we'll look for it to hold up here. I did buy some AMDL. I believe I filled on that, right? Yeah, I filled on some AMDL. That's off a little bit. AMDL. AMDL, what do you got to stop? It's 1550, I believe the stop was. 1550 AMD.
Continues to be robust at this point. And I think, Nicole, that's one of those things everybody keeps talking about, an AI bubble. Are we in the second, third, fourth inning of this AI infrastructure build out? Well, maybe, because nobody's pulling back on investments at this point. That's when you're gonna find out if there's an AI bubble, if companies start to pull back. And so far they're not. And NVIDIA continues to innovate in this space. But I did see some bullish activity. It was a trader kind of resetting an existing position that they had in the October 31st weekly options.
Here they sold out of those options.
Stop
up to
1450.
190s.
All right, so I got to stop at 1450. It's at 16 right now. Okay.
Of the November 14 195 strike calls, they paid an average debit of about $5.95 on these calls. So that takes a break even where this trader starts to profit above $200.95 over the next 39 days. So that's about 8% above the current share price. So you're going to need some price appreciation. It avoids earnings. Earnings are the week after.
People think it's too hard. They don't understand what the PE means. They don't understand what it means.
Kramer, I've never seen him on Yahoo Finance before. That's pretty interesting. Okay, Meta's still going. Microsoft's still going. Still pushing the highs here. Microsoft is on a mission.
But the market got a bad rap, and it got a bad rap because it went down big in those times. It got a bad rap because it seemed to be a playground of billionaires. I don't want to be a playground at all. I want to be the school for people to get rich, as they did when they bought NVIDIA. And that was my best bet.
Microsoft at the highs, looking good. Microsoft.
Cloud Kings and Bang, and those were the two best performers. Maybe both. Netflix was amazing performer. Bang. I had Apple.
Okay, Microsoft looks good. Wow, Microsoft is impressive today, huh? Microsoft. Okay, in the weekend video, we talked about Microsoft. How if this could hold above the 50-day, it did last week. The breakout above 520 should elicit some volume, more volume. We had what looked like institutions the last week into the first week of October, last week of September into the first week of October. Now we're headed back up to those highs. We talked about that this morning as well, that Microsoft most likely would see a retest of that earnings. Where'd it go? Microsoft, that earnings move. Microsoft. Okay, there's what I was looking at for. Okay, so you got the earnings gap over here, 554. We're on the right side of this pattern now. Volume is picking up, showing institutions. Look at the volume by price levels on the left histogram. Okay, as we cruise up a bit higher, there's less and less resistive volume back up to this earnings. So I'm thinking this is going to keep going. Nice bullish day today for sure. I'd like to see the volume much higher, but I'll take what they give us. Okay. Microsoft still going. Really good day on Microsoft. If you got time, if you have some time, we'll likely retest. Yeah, swing on Microsoft should be really beautiful. Okay, we should get back up to the highs. So swing into the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter tends to be more bullish. We're still looking for that 2 to 3% pullback between now and the fourth quarter as we ease into it. But market's looking good. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Let's do it. Microsoft looks good. Ooh, how much more can we get out of Microsoft? Wow, this thing is on fire right now. Microsoft. Okay, a little patience. We've been patient on this one. Okay, for the last few weeks, it's been hanging out at the 50. We've been saying that this thing has been lagging. Eventually, it's going to catch a bid. Today, looks like today was the day. We're about to break right through this. Look for that. Looking for that earnings gap high over there. Okay, earnings gap high. A little shake, shake. Market's moving a bit higher.
your new best friend when it comes to cleaning. It's got a powerful motor that rotates at high speed, so no more scrubbing my hair. It comes with 5 different brushes, so no matter what you're cleaning, you've got the right tool for the job. From your bathroom tiles to kitchen countertops and more, the Spinny Scrub has you covered. So if you want to make cleaning faster, easier, and way more effective, the Spinny Scrub is your answer. And right now, if you order today, you'll get 20% off. Trust me.
Okay, Microsoft at the high, looking good.
Go ahead, scan the code on your screen right now and get yours.
Oh, the stupid commercials.
Not a very good feeling, is it? I'm Blake Anderson, and have you ever dropped your phone, wallet?
All right, it is 2:30. 2:30. Let's see what's going on here. It's been a pretty good day. Pretty good day. Markets after reversing around what 10:30 or so.
The supply side
Continue to move higher. Microsoft at the highs.
maybe even surprisingly good given the macro backdrop, but it's supply. There's just way too much oil coming to market.
So, with the lack of demand, I even see some of your targets include a 5 handle. Tell me when that's coming.
Yeah, look, we think first quarter and maybe even the second quarter of next year, the surplus balances we have will be easily over 3 million, approaching 4 million barrels a day. And it's too much oil to not factor in a big down move. And we think one of the keys is instead of the surpluses building in China and the Middle East, we're expecting surplus barrels to start showing up in Europe and in the United States, where it's much more visible.
And at this point now, how does someone, over at Macquarie, do you have certain kinds of stocks that you think may benefit from the current activity?
Okay, S&P going again. S&P. Going to take out some more stops now. Okay, stops up here getting taken out.
My team and I really cover the commodity side.
Where do you think nat gas is headed?
We're bearish nat gas. Because we're bullish on U.S. oil production, we still think there's a lot of associated gas that's coming with the expected oil production growth that we're modeling. And we think what's fascinating is the market perpetually underestimates U.S. oil production growth, and therefore it underestimates U.S. natural gas associated growth. I mean, this has been going on.
Okay, S&P is about to break out again.
And when I think about the big picture here, why is there such a lack of demand for oil in the first place? You talk about it, the path of least resistance being to the downside. What's missing in the global picture?
Yeah, so the economic activity is okay. It should be good enough to create decent or, kind of at least trend level demand. But what we're actually seeing is individual markets are getting hit by their own competition. So diesel has been really hit by natural gas switching for heavy trucking in China, is one example. Obviously, globally, electric vehicles have been eating into gasoline demand. That continues. And, the lack of construction around the world, it still hasn't come back in China and elsewhere, is hurting the
Hedging flow is still rising.
For diesel, as an example. Jet fuel is looking okay. I mean, it's kind of back to where it was pre-COVID. But international travel out of China is still lagging. So you have a lot of individual factors that have depressed the demand picture.
And when I think about what you're looking at here, you talk about the lack of demand, oil heading lower. The U.S. dollar is also should be, usually when the dollar is coming down, certainly it's come down over the last 6 months. That's helpful for commodities, isn't it? Or not necessarily anymore?
All right, Microsoft, NVIDIA.
It has been, and it probably still will be. There will be, in our view, capital allocation that gets longer on commodities, and oil being the majority of that, as a way to hedge a softer dollar or potential inflation. So we think there's some dry powder that will still come in for the long side of oil, and that'll be a support mechanism
But in the end, if there's just a big and even a massive surplus, it's going to not be helpful enough. You know, these macro trades won't be supportive enough of oil.
And with the Russian oil story, I mean, obviously the president putting pressure on other countries to not buy Russian
NVIDIA.
oil, but you don't think that helps
Okay,
or
starting to
changes
turn.
the picture
NVIDIA.
at all?
We don't think it does. We think in the end,
Microsoft. S&P. S&P. S&P is still pushing a bit higher. Microsoft. Microsoft's still going here. Wow. Very impressive, Microsoft.
You know, I have a lot of guests who come on and they pick the midstream pipelines versus exploration and production. You know, we talk about the Permian Basin, we talk about all these different areas. Where do you see growth? You know, what kind of types of exploration or work for energy? I mean, where do you see some growth happening? Whether it's a region or a type of company?
Yeah, look, once again, I don't cover equities directly, but I can tell you this. The U.S. is going to grow its oil production, its natural gas, and its natural gas liquids production. So really any companies or sectors that are involved with moving that material, exporting it, storing it, trading it, will have a really good tailwind. And, that's we think that'll be positive for really every part of the industry that's involved with the U.S. Once again, it's really production growth oriented. And I think a lot of the calls out there that, the U.S. shale is peaking, it can't grow. People have been making that call for about a decade, and they've been wrong for about a decade. We think they're going to continue to underestimate what the U.S. could do.
All right, Vikas Dwavadi, thank you very much. It's great to see you, global energy strategist at Macquarie. Thank you for joining us. Coming up, let's break down the Charles Schwab Stacks report. What happened in the month of September? What were people buying and selling? The activity, the sentiment. We have all the details. Breaking news here. Watch us. We'll be right back.
Microsoft. Okay, Tesla, same thing.
Sometimes, you could have done better. The same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab.
Real-time market moves, earnings breakdowns, and trade-ready insights. Follow me on X
Okay. Microsoft's still going here. Wow. Very impressive. Meta with a big hammer today. Ooh, big hammer on Meta today. Looking really good.
Unlocking the power of Thinkorswim, the award-winning trading platforms. Bring your trades into focus on Thinkorswim Desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, including over 400 technical studies. Tailor the platforms to your
S&P 500.
with nearly endless customization.
Okay, we're into the last hour and 22 minutes.
Trade brilliantly with Schwab.
the 5, 15, 30, 60-minute futures are still on buy signals.
Data comes to us throughout the month of September to discuss all this activity, the trader activity, the sentiment. Joe Mazzola, head trading derivative strategist at Charles Schwab. Thank you so much for being with us. So we saw a barrow again. Tell us a little bit about the story.
Yeah, you saw an up arrow. You saw taking us to a 6-month high. So, the stacks basically measures client buying sentiment, right? Or overall sentiment, I guess is a better way to put it. It's what they're doing, not what they're saying. And
Tesla.
Boy, we saw
Trade
some
desk
buying, so
looking
buying.
better. Trade desk. What do I have on trade desk? I have November. Okay. I have some January calls. Okay. S&P.
And Oracle had a big jump throughout the course of the month.
Apple.
Earnings and then off of the guidance that it gave. And in terms
Okay,
of
they're selling this now.
particular, we're about 5.5% move for the stacks, which basically doubled what the S&P 500 did.
So it does seem like good news, but it's still moderately low compared to historical averages. Is that right? What does that tell us?
Yeah, but Nicole, I think one of the things that might skew that a tiny bit was the 2021, the highs that we've seen, and that was where we saw a lot of the upside was done through the meme stock buying, and those are more volatile stocks that have a little bit more beta to them. So, I think if we look at it relative to maybe the past year, like I said, we're at a 6-month high. So I think sentiment is pretty strong right now. Basically, the highest that we've seen since December.
No.
I think what's giving me some clues into, where they're buying. I mentioned the top 3, but if you extend beyond the top 3 and look at the top 10, we have some new entrants this month. CoreWeave being one, a bit emerging technologies and Open Doors. So these are a little bit more volatility, or a little bit more volatile stocks that have higher betas, and clients are, they're feeling more comfortable taking on that risk than they have in a while.
Buying a lot of the Mag 7 names. I saw buying of NVIDIA and Amazon. But what was interesting here is that they bought names like Palantir, which actually had a tough month, sold off some. About some of the names that people bought into.
Yeah, I mean, you named a few there, and I think there was a common theme, especially when you're talking about Palantir. It was the dip buying, and that's just to be honest, that's the mentality that's really kind of driven this market since April. And when I think about the retail clients kind of stepping in front and buying the dips in April, when we get these pullbacks, we haven't had more than a 1% pullback since that non-farm payrolls report beginning of August. So it's been a kind of and that's kind of what we've been seeing really, like I said, since April, but especially lately.
Microsoft at the highs. A little profit taking on Microsoft up here.
That Jackson Hole report, or Jackson Hole speech back in August, and we've really just kind of been moving up ever since, and without much of a pullback. Now, I will say that a couple things that I'm kind of monitoring within what we're seeing here, not only in this Jackson report, but also in some of the sentiment. This is the behavior part of it, right? This is where we measure the behavior, but we also measure the attitudinal side. And this is where I feel a little bit more confident in the rally continuing, is that the behavior is pretty bullish, but the attitudinal side is, there's nervousness around evaluation, nervousness around tariffs, nervousness around the government shutdown. So it's almost like it's climbing a wall of worry, and that tends to be okay for stocks.
What's interesting is that we saw that not only for retail trading, and that people are climbing the wall of worry and buying in and all that, they're getting ready to spend for the holidays. I did the Adobe Analytics numbers, and it turns out it looks like it could be a record for spending online and buy now, pay later. So people are still, while they're feeling cautious, they're still taking chances. What's interesting is they sold, at least on some of the news, like Apple came out with phones, they sold. Alibaba, which had a pop, and then people sold. Tell me about some of the names that people maybe trimmed down on.
Yeah, you mentioned 2 of them, Apple and Alibaba, but then Tesla was number 1 on the net sell list. And I think what all 3 of those stocks had in common is they kind of broke out of trading ranges. And specifically, Alibaba had a really strong month, and And remember, just because it's on the net sold list doesn't mean that they got out of the positions totally or they were short position. No, it just means that they trimmed. And these just happen to be the ones that they trimmed the best, or trimmed the most, I guess is a better way to put it. When I kind of look at, once again, the mentality that we've seen from the retail client, buy the dip, trim the rip. And when you see big moves like this,
Okay, Microsoft, Tesla still pushing here. Tesla trying to take the highs. Tesla, TSLL, Tesla, long ETF 2 times bull.
Only some of the sectors, a few, had buying
Tesla,
multiple months in a row for, back to back,
TSLL looking good.
like 4 of 11 or something. What were those?
Yeah, so industrial staples, what else?
Tesla. Got the big reveal tomorrow, whatever it's going to be. I would imagine you'll see some sell the news, whatever it happens to be. Shorts are definitely covering today, most likely, I would think. Shorts are covering. They don't want to get caught on any kind of zip higher. They can, once they see the highs tomorrow, whatever it happens to be, they can make a determination whether or not, they want to short it. But ahead of whatever this is going to be, whatever they're going to be touting tomorrow, I wouldn't want to be short because you never know. Okay, we got about an hour and 15 minutes to go. I'm your host, Cousin Vinny, coming to you from theclosingprint.com. Market's fading a little bit off the highs. Futures still, okay, the 5-minute has gone on a sell signal now. 5-minute. 15, 30, 60 are still on buy signals. 5-minute is on a sell signal now.
So it looks like it might be bottoming. I think the key, Nicole, isn't necessarily the number. I think it's just the fact that there's some stability, right? There's not a lot of volatility in the bond market. And when you see that volatility shrinking or waning in the bond market, that tends to lead into shrinking or waning equity volatility, which tends to give clients a little bit more confidence.
That you're looking forward to hearing, is it whether it's earnings coming up soon for banks? Jay Powell speaking this week. I mean, the government shutdown is still just the government shutdown. Is there anything you're sort of really waiting on?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We're not going to get much in terms of the data from the DLS. So what we're going to have to do is kind of rely on some of that private data that we got last week, like GDP, Schultz. So we did get some of those numbers that give us a little bit more sense of the employment picture. But earnings, I think that's really going to be the big driver, Nicole, because as opposed to maybe the last 2 quarters where we came in with really lower expectations are around a 9.5% to 10% year-over-year earnings growth for this quarter. So the bar's set a bit higher. And it's not only going to be the earnings, but it's going to be the guidance going forward. This might be the first time that we really start hearing about tariffs in some of the earnings announcements, just because of the way that they kind of slowly made their way into the economy. This might be the first time that we hear that corporations aren't able to pass some of those tariffs on to clients or to customers. So this would be really interesting in terms of an earnings cycle. I think it sets up for some potential volatility in the coming months.
Look, people sold off Tesla, but meantime, week to date, it's up 4.7%. I mean, it's only Monday. I mean, so it's up 4.7% today. What am I saying? Month to date, it's up 1.2%, so it's already heading up arrow. Joe Mazzola, head of trading derivative strategist at Charles Schwab. Thank you so much.
More buyout blocks all the way up. S&P.
Okay, still ahead. We're going to talk about the government shutdown. What does it mean? The potential impact on your economy, your money, the markets. What do we need to know big picture? Next here on the watch list.
The final 90 minutes of the trading day, that's when markets make headlines and traders make decisions.
Google, nice move on Google. Definitely making our day, Google. Amazon revert. I'll call you, the New York Fangs are looking a lot better. New York Fangs are looking a lot better.
And in Chicago, we break down the data, technicals, and trades you need to see before the bell rings. Live coverage of the close every single day. This is Market on Close, live weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern, only on Schwab Network.
Opportunities don't stop when the market day ends. So neither do we. Schwab gives you round-the-clock access to over 1,100 of the most popular stocks and ETFs, plus a wide variety of futures markets. All with 24-hour support from trading specialists.
Yeah, that the New York FANG is looking pretty good for the most part.
No matter the hour. You can trade
Meta, okay, Meta definitely doing well with the hammer. Okay, let's look at the 60-minute. Okay, so whenever you got the 60-minute price below the 60-minute, you take smaller positions. So if I wanted 1,000 shares, I'd only take maybe 100 shares until this can complete the turn. Meta looks good as a hammer, but you know, it's still, I guess, still got to respect the strategy. The strategy is I need to see prices turn up and to the right, like here in September. Right now, it's still a short until it can regain the 20 EMA on the 60-minute, and that turns up. That's going to take another day. Hammer so far on the daily looks really good. Okay, looking at Tesla, same idea. Tesla, is it trending? It certainly is. What about Microsoft? Microsoft is definitely trending. So I want to be buying these dips and selling the rips. Microsoft, Apple, it's okay. Amazon's just sitting down here, so that needs to turn and start trending like over here. Tesla up and to the right. Google up and to the right. Google looks really good. You see where it just now transitioned over the last few days, transitioned back above the 20 EMA on both the daily, the dotted line, and the 20 EMA on the 60-minute, both time frames, rising. That looks really good. What's NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA? So you can see NVIDIA, this would be a short for now. Okay. S&P 500, what's it doing? Trending. Okay. So until this decisively loses it, like it did back here, back on the 22nd, 23rd, till we lose the 20 EMA on the 60-minute, the trend is up. This is a 10th week higher. Gotta love it. Okay, Google, we said Google, right? Google. Yeah, Google looks really good. Google looking really smart. AMD. Okay, big gap up. So this is probably going to fade a little bit. AMD. Let's see. DoorDash is on the top 5. DoorDash is the top 5. If you like trading DoorDash, look at the trend here. Okay, we pulled back to the 20 EMA last week on Friday. Now we're extending our move. So DoorDash is a long. Okay, breaking out above this level. Tony, if you're listening, AAOI, I know you like AAOI. This is a bit extended from the 20 EMA on the 60-minute, but this is very bullish. Looking for the follow-through. Fiber optics and cabling for all of these data centers. Okay, going down the list. ARM Holdings. Okay, bullish. Lam Research, LRCX. You should be thinking bullish. Or you could just trade semiconductors. 20 EMA is up and to the right. Tech, XLK. XSW Software. What's Palantir doing? Palantir is sideways. Qs, let's see what the Qs look like. Qs are fine. New York FANG Index. New York FANG Index turning up. All right, so there's a lot of reasons to want to be bullish. Just got to go with the flow. Broadcom. Okay, trying to turn the trend. Chipotle, I mentioned Chipotle. Chipotle on Friday mentioned getting long on this one. Chipotle looks like it wants to keep going. Okay, it's above the 50-day. All right, day 3, above the 9 and 21 day. Day 2, above the 50-day. Looks like Chipotle might be turning the corner. So be watchful. Chipotle looks good. I did take a Chipotle position. on Friday. I took the June 2026 40-50 call vertical. So I'm looking for this to get back towards the 200-day over the next few months into the fourth quarter. Chipotle Mexican Grill looks good.
You're also seeing what y'all talked about in the earlier segment, which is other traditional safe haven assets like
UNH looks good. Oklo off the best level. Oh, that's another one to look at. Let's look at Oklo. Okay, above the 20 EMA. NUKZ above the 20 EMA on the 60-minute. These look good. SMR. Okay, nanonuclear. Big move on nanonuclear today. Wow. It's up 24% on the day. So watch your 20 EMA on your 60-minute. That's going to tell you a lot about what to anticipate. Okay, Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the 60-minute. Same thing. Look how pretty this trend is. Buy the dips. Buy the dips. Coinbase. Buy the dips. Let me see who this is. Hold on a second. Hello. Okay, I guess they didn't like me. Okay. Yeah, so that looks good. Coinbase, IBIT. Notice where the 20 EMA is and what directions it's pointed. Okay, so you want to buy dips. You don't want to chase. So we have to wait for some of these. MicroStrategy, same thing. Okay, so MicroStrategy giving you an opportunity. It's pulled back towards the 20 EMA. I'd rather buy it here than buy it at the high, obviously. Oracle. Okay, that's trying to turn the corner. Oracle. Applied Materials. Okay.
About an underappreciated sector regarding AI and data centers, which is the utilities industry and power generation, particularly
Cadence Design,
like
ASML, trending ASML, Taiwan Semiconductor, trending. Use your 20 EMA on your 60-minute.
Particularly here in Texas, and they are advantaged, and the multiples are not as significant as kind of the pure play AI companies like CoreWeave and others. So I really take a serious consideration at utility companies right now that they can tremendously benefit from the AI boom that's happening across the country.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. I mean, it's great to chat with you both here about the government shutdown and how it could affect investors and maybe ideas and strategies of what they could do to make it work. Chuck Lieberman and Lee Gratcher, thank you both very much. Let's get into
Okay, S&P sounds like it wants to pull back a little bit. S&P. Okay, we might be done for today. 67.50 was a level we didn't think we'd get above. We're just consolidating up here now. Okay.
Schwab Bank Investor Checking, the checking account built for investors, named highest in client satisfaction by
Stops
GE
overhead.
for 7 years in a row. With Investor Checking, you get the award-winning features of our checking account, plus cash management solutions, all designed for investors like you, with unlimited ATM fee rebates for cash withdrawals worldwide, no overdraft fees, and enhanced security features to keep your money safe. Also, because your investor checking account is linked to your Schwab One brokerage account, you can manage your checking and investing in one convenient location. Moving funds between your accounts is easy. Cash moved to your brokerage account is available in seconds. That means you can stop waiting and
Tesla's still going. All right, these New York FANGs look a hell of a lot better. Nvidia's even starting to turn now. Broadcom's not cooperating. Apple's starting to turn. But the rest, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, and Tesla all pushing higher. Snowflake as well.
Where real-time market coverage meets expert strategy. From the opening bell to the closing bell, we've got you covered. Get inside the minds of pro traders.
My point is that they're getting a higher rate of change in sales based on their guidance, but not the same rate of change on EPS.
Follow the biggest headlines, live analysis, breaking news, and sharp trade ideas. With shows built for action, we break it all down in real time with speed, accuracy, and precision.
I think one of the most important things is you're making a play in a risk-defined way here going into earnings.
So that would be a further downside area to watch.
Smart insights, actionable data, veteran traders, and trusted financial journalists streaming live and on demand.
Schwab Network, streaming 24/7, any screen, anywhere, free. SchwabNetwork.com.
This is Fast Market, built for traders who want more than just headlines.
We walk you through trade ideas with structure, risk management, and a focus on execution.
From options to earnings to volatility plays, we bring decades of trading experience to every segment.
With real-time insight across products and sectors, we deliver what active traders need to stay ahead. Fast Market weekdays at noon Eastern, live on Schwab Network at SchwabNetwork.com.
Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. on Wall Street, and this is Market on Close. I'm Marley Caton, coming to you live from our Chicago headquarters. Happy Monday, Marley. I'm Sam Barnes, coming to you live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And coming up on today's show, we'll look at the huge move in AMD and the technical supporting the recent rally in stocks. Today's spotlight is on the housing sector. What trends are we seeing in the fourth quarter? And today's overlooked stock is Sanmina, which is looking to benefit from the increased AI chip demand. But for now, Marley, take us through what you're watching today. Well, Sam, you just mentioned the first one. AMD stock soaring up more than 25% right now after inking a huge AI deal with OpenAI. The ChatGPT owner plans to deploy 6 gigawatts worth of Instinct GPUs from AMD, making the chipmaker one of its key suppliers. Now, the deal could also give OpenAI a 10% stake in AMD. We'll tell you how coming up. And then two well-known regional banks are merging as Fifth Third announced plans to buy Comerica in a $10.9 billion all-stock transaction. That merger, if it goes through, will form the 9th largest U.S. bank by assets. And shares of Tesla are up today as well, as the company posted 2 teaser videos to X indicating that it could release a new vehicle tomorrow. What vehicle might that be? We'll talk about it later in the show. But before we get to all of that, let's take a look at where the markets stand as we near the close today. The S&P 500 trading up about 0.4% at 6744.45. On the Nasdaq, trading up about 1% right now, 25,026.51. The Dow still trading down on the day, more than 0.1% at 46,684.82 right now. And the Russell 2000 up 0.6%, 2491.65. Taking a look at the dollar, higher on the day, up 0.4% at 97.80. Gold almost 2% higher, 39.84. Another new record for gold today. Crude oil trading up 1 1/3% at 61.67 a barrel. And Bitcoin at another record high here, up 2 3/4% right now at 127,050. So big record day in the commodities space, Sam. But I'd love to know what's catching your eye today on the floor of the NYSE. What an everything rally, isn't it, Molly? We'll be talking about that throughout the course of the program. But been keeping an eye on this OpenAI developer conference over in San Francisco, or Dev Day as they call it. And some traders have pointed out that this could actually be the next catalyst for the AI trade, given all the announcements and excitement around the company lately. CEO Sam Altman taking to the stage about 2 hours ago, and one stock that did get a bit of a boost early on in the speech was Coursera. That's the online learning platform, which popped more than 6% after the company was used as part of a ChatGPT demo. Salesforce and Figma also getting a bit of a bump on mentions at the event. Nvidia, though, lower today off the back of the news about AMD and OpenAI, despite a price target boost from the folks over at Goldman Sachs.
Some say it's not surprising to see the move lower, given that AMD has been working hard to compete in this market. But Goldman still sees significant upside and believes it has strong runway for growth, keeping a buy rating and raising Nvidia's price target to $210 from $200. That's all about the money, and it's all about the memory. And another big analyst call Micron hitting a new all-time high today after Morgan Stanley upgraded the stock to overweight with a $220 price target. The firm believes Micron will see multiple quarters of double-digit price increases, and that will drive sustainability higher. The earnings power, Micron is up more than 200% from its April low. For some of the top moving stocks, though, on the day, let's send things back to Chicago with Marley, who's joined by Kevin Hinks today.
Thank you so much, Sam. I want to welcome into our conversation for a broad look at the market today, Kevin Hinks, the host of Fast Market. Kevin, great to have you on the show. We've missed you here on Market on Close.
Hi, Marley. Yeah, I haven't been on in a while. Good to talk to you guys.
Well, we're glad to have you. Let's just start with your thoughts on today's performance, nearing record high closes on the broader indices. We've got commodities hitting record highs. What are your thoughts?
The AM deal was a monster to start the day. And if you think about it, Marley, how many times since the April lows can you say that the S&P is higher, that the NASDAQ is higher, that the chips and AI sector is higher without NVIDIA?
All right, we'll continue to fade a little bit more.
It's almost a rally
Let's
without
see.
the clear leaders like NVIDIA
Tesla.
and Broadcom that have rallied so much because
Tesla, wow, look at the move on Tesla. Nice move.
AMD is really ready now because of the relationship with OpenAI to compete with NVIDIA. And I think despite an upgrade,
There goes Tesla.
NVIDIA's lower today by about just around
Wow.
1%. But can this finally be? We've been waiting for years for AMD to actually compete with NVIDIA. Maybe this is the catalyst that gets that happening.
Yeah, and it is so interesting that you bring up that point, Kevin, because the broader conversation has been, OpenAI doesn't want to have just its reliance on one partner, and it was so predominantly weighted to NVIDIA. But now it's not just about OpenAI, it's about AMD and the readiness play for AMD and how that then positions AMD in the markets. We saw shares are up still almost 24.5% right now, as much as 35% on this news. The street likes it and likes it.
Tesla ripping here.
Well, I think it opens up a whole new chapter for AMD, and it brings them more into line or to compete with NVIDIA. Now, we don't know if that'll work over a long period of time, but it's certainly a great push.
I wouldn't mind buying a Tesla for tooling around town. I have solar panels, so why not?
1/5 or 1/6 the size of NVIDIA. So if you think there's a chance that they can compete and pull together, it's interesting that almost like a pairs trade going on. Buy AMD, sell NVIDIA going on here. So really interesting what could come. Like I said, we've talked for months and years about can AMD compete with NVIDIA? We'll see, but certainly an interesting chapter in that relationship.
Yeah, it's certainly a potential vote of confidence on the AMD front with this announcement. Another one that really struck me this morning was this announcement of this merger between Fifth Third and Comerica. Comerica shares up about 13% right now. Fifth Third a little under pressure, like 1 3/4%, but that's pretty normal with the company doing the acquisition. But not just specifically the acquisition itself, Kevin, but what this means ahead of bank earnings and what it's signaling sort of in the broader M&A
All right, Tesla's going.
in banking.
Here's what I think. I think this is
All right, Tesla's on the move.
community seeing green shoots ahead, right? You've got a steepening yield curve that makes bank profits more. You look at how banks have used, and you know what? That Comerica gives Fifth Third is branches, lots and lots of branches, and able to make themselves bigger. Remember, it's a 10.9 all-stock deal, and it really jumps Fifth Third in terms of their overall size. And let's face it, if you look at a long-term chart of Comerica stock, they were flatlined for a while, for many a long time on their stock. being right in this area. So good shot in the arm for Comerica being purchased, makes Fifth Third a big player. And like I said, it gives them branches, lots of branches.
Yeah, and if this merger does go through, it will make them the 9th largest U.S. bank by asset share in terms of that. So it would put them, I think, just behind Capital One and ahead of PNC. So, I mean, in with the big dogs there, right ahead of bank earnings. Will be very interesting to see if we have any other banks come out during earnings to discuss any M&A plays. As you mentioned, green shoots ahead. But I want to move on to Nike now, in retail. We got some commentary from the CEO today saying the turnaround plan is going to take some time, even though we have started to see early signs of progress in their most recent earnings.
Yeah, Nike had a great beat to end second quarter earnings season. They had pretty positive comments. He tempered the comments a bit today in a longer, in-depth
Trade
interview,
desk.
But I think that's
UNH. All right, just sorting through some things that I might want to take some profits on. What's Supermicro doing? Supermicro, that looks okay. Supermicro, looking for 60 on Supermicro. Okay, love to see 60 on this one. Oracle, Oklo, looking good. Okay, there goes Tesla. Microsoft on the move. Apple turning now.
And as we've seen, the honesty does play well right now. People want transparency, and I think that may be part of the plan. You're trying to give it to them. But Kevin, great to have you on this show.
Apple shorts covering.
For breaking down some of our top stories today. That's Kevin Hanks. And with that, I'll send it back to Sam in New York.
Okay, Meta, nice little follow through on Meta. Microsoft, yes, Microsoft looks good. What's Hims and Hers doing? Nothing today. Well, it's up a little bit. Hims and Hers. Home Depot. I closed Home Depot. Home Depot just kept fading. Lost a little bit on Home Depot. Not everything is going to be a winner. Love to see everything be a winner, but not the case. January 9. Okay. Fortinet, I'll leave that alone for now. CoreWeave have put credits on CoreWeave.
I'm Nicole Petalides, live at the New York Stock Exchange, and this is the Watch List. Your midday view into the trends driving the markets with a sharp focus on technology, innovation, and companies leading the next wave of growth. Big movers, real-time interviews, and insight from analysts, founders, and more.
Okay, whatever, Nicole. Whatever. Let's get some CNBC on, even though they're not much better. CNBC. OpenAI. Okay, let's hear what these guys have to say. OpenAI.
Any sort of tea leaves, any sort of indications of how.
Look at Tesla. Tesla's just going vertical.
Where it can be integrated together, just like it's done so well for so long. I mean, that's the opportunity for AI. I'm curious to hear if they drop any hints about what that might look like from their perspective.
Finally, Doug, I know you're all in video.
Oh, ho. Look at Tesla going. Tesla looking good.
I'll give you two tickers, Josh. One is First Solar.
I think this is actually just the start for AMD, because this next stage of the AI revolution takes hold. OpenAI, what they're doing here, I think other companies.
AMD. I'll add to AMD tomorrow probably. As long as it holds up here. I got a stop 14. AMD, I'll have a stop 1450. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Tesla just killing it today. Tesla. Look at Tesla going.
Now, Grant, muted reaction today, but I think it shows this AI arms race is playing out. And you talking with Ed about where we are in 1999, 2000. Scott, I think, and I've talked, we're in a 1996 moment today, not a 1999 moment.
I mean, what kind of moat premium, if you will, you think is in NVIDIA's stock?
Look, I think there's a moot premium that's in there, but then the reality is 90% of the AI spend they're going to get. Now, granted, ultimately, AMD could probably get 10% of it, maybe down that's more 15, 20%. But the reality is demand to supply is still 10, 12 to 1 for NVIDIA chips. And that's a real moot. And that's why I think this is going to be a $5 trillion market cap. And ultimately, you're going to see more and more tech players. Stocks are going to continue to move higher. I think the street is still massively underestimating the spending on the AI revolution.
Why are you so convinced that we're in 96 and not 99? When you hear somebody
Because he's smarter than you. That's why.
say it feels exactly like 1999, I don't know.
I know they make him the protagonist, but he's just like sometimes gets on my nerves.
Because there's some of myself that covered tech stocks back in the 90s to where we are today, spending all my time around the world in Asia,
There you
seeing
go.
the chips, seeing demand. We're in the second inning of a 9-inning game. I'm not saying you're not going to have some froth that's out there, but I think the street's still underestimating the spending that probably by 30, 35%. And that's what OpenAI sees. That's what AMD sees. That's what the Godfather Jensen sees. And I think and that's why Nadella, and I think Palantir,
Look at Tesla. Holy smokes.
phase of the AI
Smoking the bears.
That's why it's 1996 as his fourth
Wow.
revolution, please.
Look at that move. 416 Friday at that bounce at the 20-day. 416 to 453. Wow. Wow.
Possibly be in the second inning with the kind of money that's being thrown around. I read the quote earlier from Stacy Rascon of Sam Altman. OpenAI has the ability to either crash the global economy for a decade or take us to the promised land. I know what side of that
Who said that?
argument you're clearly on, but there's a credible argument to say that you're underestimating
Crash
where we
the
are in
economy?
cycle.
Yeah, and Scott, to that point, I'd say, look, 3% of enterprises in the U.S. have gone down the AI path. None in Europe. You look at Asia, ex-China, minimal. Sovereigns are just starting to play out like we see in Middle East and UK. Think about it, as more and more enterprises, rest of the world plays out. Guess what? For the first time in 30 years, the U.S. is ahead of China when it comes to tech. So it's U.S. tech that's going to win. Now, granted, the circular in terms of OpenAI, NVIDIA, AMD, and some of the worries there. Look, I just view it like this. For OpenAI, for every dollar they put into AMD, they'll get $12 to $15. NVIDIA, the same thing. And I think that's why this is more of a 1996 moment than a 1999 moment, despite obviously a lot of the worries. And that's why we think NASDAQ.
Wow.
25,000,
Wow, wow, wow.
NASDAQ
Tesla.
30,000. These are going to be some of the conversations.
We could see a sell the news moment too. So be aware of it. Tesla trades 24 hours, right, on Thinkorswim. Let's see, Tesla. Yeah, it's 24 extended hours.
Yeah, I think it's about Google and Gemini, because once they won DOJ from the Google side, now that could that be a candlelight moment, between Cook and Sundar? Can you actually now start to see a deal on the table? As well as also, this is an upgrade cycle that under the radar, no one was expecting. It's going to be a lot better than expected. Numbers going to have to move higher.
Extended hours. 24.5. So Tesla, if this gets much more extended, I might take a little bit off after hours.
We'll see. Dan, thanks. Dan Ives joining us. The other big corporate story we're watching today, Fifth Third striking that $11 billion deal to buy Comerica. It's a big one in the regional bank space. Leslie Picker following that money for obvious reasons. Hey, Les.
Hey, Scott, yeah, big one indeed. An all-stock deal at a 17% premium from Friday's close, although shares today trading below that, about 350 basis points below that premium. That implies perhaps a little risk that this deal doesn't close, although Fifth Third CEO Tim Spence was confident they'd get the approvals and get them pretty quickly. Financially, the transaction makes a lot of sense. It's accretive to EPS, and they say that with the cost savings, the combined company will boast a best-in-class return on tangible common equity of 19%.
Okay, we got 42 minutes to go.
Call this one of the most financially attractive bank transaction they've seen in decades. However, Comerica's growth has been stagnant for a while now, leading some analysts to question whether it could be a long-term drag once it's part of Fifth Third. Just last month, an activist called Holdco Asset Management cited 20 25 years worth of underperformance at Comerica as part of the push to get the regional bank to sell itself or face a potential proxy fight. Scott, they obviously took the selling route there.
Yeah. Any thoughts you might have on whether this leads to some kind of flurry, consolidation, others who think they need scale now?
I think so. I mean, this is something we've been hearing for quite a while, and so far the market for regional bank M&A has been somewhat more muted than a lot of people were expected. There was the Synovus deal over the summer. Now this one, Comerica is a company that's been rumored to be kind of on that selling block for quite some time now. People have been waiting for
Oops, sorry about that.
because of the necessity to get that scale and compete with the big banks at this point in time as a regional bank crisis. And for technology, for AI and fraud prevention and so forth. So bigger is definitely better. It's definitely an advantage in banking right now. They just need the regulatory approvals to get it done. So if this gets approved, it could certainly signal that there's appetite for more out there.
All right, Leslie Picker following the money for us. Thank you. We're just getting started here on Closing Bell. Coming up next, betting big on biotech. The sector is showing new signs of life. StemPoint Capital's Michelle Ross tells us where the opportunities are right now in that space. Live at the New York Stock Exchange, you're watching Closing Bell, CNBC.
$450, $480. Looks like some selling to open. Let's see, open interest. Looks like at the close. I'm just looking at Tesla right here. Okay. Tesla puts bought to open. $19 put for $10.10.
The healthcare sector coming off its best week in 3 years, and top technician Jonathan Krinsky of BTIG says this breakout feels different. Michelle Ross is the CIO of StemPoint Capital, where she runs a biotech fund, and she joins us once again now. It's good to see you.
Very good to see you too.
Reason to have a smile.
Yeah.
In this space.
I'll take it.
What do you think of what Krinsky says? Is it meaningful?
It's very unique set of circumstances that have led us to this point.
Okay.
And I think what we saw even last week was pretty dynamic in the sense of how much some of these names traded up on the back of an announcement by the administration with pharmaceutical companies. In particular, this time it was Pfizer. And it catalyzed a lot of maybe potential negativity over the years, positioning being out of favor to really see some dramatic moves. The pharmaceutical complex was up 10% in 2 days last week, which we haven't seen in over 20 years.
What makes you think that it's not simply a moment in time, idiosyncratic based on what you said at the White House, but longer term, we got the same issues?
Yeah, there were so many issues that were facing the sector for a number of years now. We have had headwinds from tariffs to MFN, that's most favored nation drug pricing. We've had lack of pharma M&A and biotech being purchased. It really felt as though there were so many reasons to not invest in the sector as opposed to invest in the sector. And things have marginally started changing over the last few months. And it's really more not one single effect as it is the confluence of all these things coming together, including some really great to see M&A that is happening in companies that are pre-commercial. So we're seeing on that side of the ledger a lot of nice movement there as well.
And you think that's going to continue?
We do. We think that's going to continue in a meaningful way.
We got 35 minutes to go.
And say that in the context of the last few years, with very little M&A in the space, it's actually allowed some of the strongest new biotech companies to actually emerge as the leaders in the space. We had a group of companies that really led us over the last decade. We talked about biotech had a genomic revolution of sorts, and there were a core group of companies that really were setting the stage as what people in the broad market
Nice little pop here. S&P.
In the last 2 to 3 years, you really did see a number of companies, new companies, that were seeing approval of new drugs, phenomenal launches, great growth, and they've actually emerged and have become, I would call it the new leadership that's emerged in the space.
What role do lower rates play?
It is something that, we had called out, many people have called out as, the move for not just biotech, but for the mid-cap complex. There's been a massive underweight, not just in biotech, but I would say you see it in the Russell as well.
But that's your favorite, right? The mid caps?
Mid caps are my favorite. There really is a fair amount, I'll call it like a coiled spring phenomenon, where you're seeing is that in the context of a lower rate cut environment, these companies can now raise capital. They can grow unimpeded in certain ways. And we're seeing it as those companies are releasing clinical data sets. The complete movement of the stock to the upside is more than many expected. That coil spring phenomenon really playing out.
Let's talk about, speaking of coiled springs, let's talk about a stock, Unicure. Is that what it is?
It is.
It's up 200% in a month.
Yeah.
There must have been an event.
There was an event. So Unicure released 3-year data of their gene therapy program for Huntington's disease. And Huntington's disease is a fatal dominant recessive gene. Ultimately, these patients have very few options for treatment. They were dosed with a gene therapy, and we showed a 75% reduction in the effect of that damaged gene to those patients over time. So you're seeing something for the first time that is truly unique and absolutely game-changing for patients in this space. You're seeing an actual effect to the disease happening.
So how does somebody that does what you do,
Tesla.
look at a chart like that, and I'm assuming that
Tesla looking good.
Let's put it back up, guys, please. From the winter,
Tesla.
it's in trial, and that's why it's a straight line across. And then there's a result that results in a move like that. Are you still staying in the stock?
I am.
You are. Why?
I am. So
What's Coinbase doing? Coinbase. ABCD pattern on Coinbase. A looks like B, a late evening B pivot. C, looking for higher prices on Coinbase. I still have CONL options that expire out in November 50-55. CONL. I'm happy that the markets have decided to continue on a 10th week higher, but I'm also skeptical that this can continue. So what I'm doing may not be what you're doing, but what I'm doing is to reduce my exposure. I'm talking short-term options, okay? Short-term trades, short-term swings that may be expiring into this week or next week. I'm just reducing my exposure. And as the markets move higher, I can buy dips on, for example, like AMDL. I bought some AMDL this morning. I have a stop at 1450. You know, this could very well just completely lose it, in which case I'll have a little loss there. But if we manage to hold this gap and AMD continues, I might add to it. Okay, so this is just kind of faded. It didn't fade the complete gap, but it's holding up fairly well. AMD still on the top dog on the NASDAQ 100. Number 2 is Tesla, obviously. All right, Trade Desk. Trade Desk has turned the corner. Trade Desk is starting to accelerate. Trade Desk starting to accelerate.
We think it will work not just in ulcerative colitis, but in other areas of autoimmune GI. So you can look at potentially Crohn's disease and others and see this as something that will expand over time. This is another great example of a name you could buy or could have bought that morning on the first data set in the 50s. It's close to $100 now. So there's this unique dichotomy of being able to see it compounding of your investment after that data card has turned.
Okay, let's go one more.
Yeah.
To a stock that's lagged year to date. It's done well lately. It's Scholar Rock.
Yes.
SRRK.
One of my favorites.
What do they do?
Scholar Rock has also a late stage drug. They have shown their data set. We are waiting FDA approval in an indication called spinal muscular atrophy. It is a rare disease. It is a neuromuscular rare disease, an indication. A number of children and adults are afflicted with it.
MicroStrategy, UNH. Okay, markets continue to pull back.
Tremendous potential in terms of sales and growth rate over time.
Really interesting conversation. I enjoyed it, Michelle. Thanks.
Very good to see you.
Michelle Ross joining us once again on Closing Bell. Still ahead, a rundown of what to watch for.
Okay, hedging flows continue to drop off here.
Morgan Stanley, Sherry Paul. She maps out her market playbook for you. The bell's coming right back.
Hedging flows continue to drop off. 0 day. Okay, there's almost nothing left now. Overhead. This was resistance earlier, 67.50, 67.60. Okay. Looks like we might be headed down to 67.20 or so. Okay, so it's been a good day for the most part. I'm your host, Cousin Vinny, coming to you from theclosingprint.com. We got Tesla with a reveal, probably a new vehicle, low-cost vehicle. I wouldn't mind buying one. Plug it into our solar array. I have an Enphase solar array. I would love to do something with like a Tesla Powerwall that plugs into the solar array, and then be able to plug a inexpensive EV, $30,000 EV maybe for tooling around. I do a lot of driving within like 10-mile radius. No reason to have burn gas every time in traffic, whatever. I wouldn't have an EV for a longer distance, but some of you probably already do, right? A hybrid? What if it's a hybrid? Well, that'd be wild. I doubt he ever does a hybrid, but that'd be interesting. Like the Prius is a hybrid, right? Has a gasoline engine and battery. Am I right? Prius? Okay, looks good. Microsoft. Okay, looks good.
Up next, Morgan Stanley Sherry Paul tells us how she's advising her clients at these all-time highs in stocks. She joins us after the break.
All right. All right. Okay, we've got 24 minutes to go. 24 minutes to go. Not a bad day, huh? Not a bad day. Coinbase almost back up to the high of the day. Coinbase, IBIT. Okay, that's at the high. Bitcoin, BTC, USD, Bitcoin. Okay, that looks good on the daily as well. Tesla, having a good day. Tesla, rocking and rolling. The Bears. Microsoft having a good day. We had a hammer on Meta. That's looking good. Apple trying to turn the corner. Okay. Apple still might work there. Amazon. Okay. Google making higher highs, higher lows. Google looking good. Netflix. Okay. Just off the highs of the session. AMD, of course. AMD. I'm going to add to AMD more than likely tomorrow. Trade Desk turning off the low. Trade Desk looking good. ARM Holdings. That's holding up fairly well. Marvell. These are the top 10 NASDAQ 100 stocks. Marvell's hanging in there. PayPal. Some of you have some PayPal. PayPal's near the highs. Okay. Datadog is climbing the list. Datadog climbing the list. DDOG. Datadog looking good. Lots of good stocks. The NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ 100, we've got 61 stocks out of 100 rising. S&P 500 is about 50-50. It's at 238 stocks advancing out of 500. Breath could be a little bit better.
best place to be positioned if the market is in fact going to have an end-of-year melt-up? Let's ask Sherry Paul. She's Private Wealth Advisor and Senior Portfolio Managing Director at Morgan Stanley. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So how do you feel about this market at a time where I think it's almost
Tesla's still going. AMD is okay. Riot, even Riot looking good, right? Riot. We need to be, we're above the 20 finally, Riot above the 20.
Yeah, I think actually now we're at 31.
Shorts covering.
And, you know, where do we start about all the good
Riot.
things that are coming, you know, in terms of the investing climate? We've got $5 trillion sitting in cash.
Okay, Riot looks good.
We've got earnings revisions, you know, moving upward. We've got
Riot, we finally broke through 20. Riot. Okay, breaking out.
And deregulation, M&A activity kind of heating up. And so, you know, you put all of that in the context of AI innovation and as an accelerant to all things, then there's still room to move here. And just because markets are going higher doesn't mean they're not going to continue to do so.
Wow, I mean, you sound like you're talking about like a super melt-up. I mean, Paul Tudor Jones was basically saying that too. He just said it's going to end badly.
Well, you know, look, I mean, you know.
Man, if you listen to Wapner, you're never going to get long the markets.
I mean, I've been watching the playoff games, and you don't know how many runs you're going to hit in the last inning. I mean, it could be, you know, a monster last two innings here. So
For the longest time Wapner's been on, I haven't heard him say many positive things. Back when President Trump, back on, was it April the 8th or 9th, 10th? Telling everyone to buy stocks. He was even poo-pooing that. April 10th. April 10th.
Well, you know, for individual investors, and remember, like I work with people that live in their money.
Good time to buy. Market's still going.
So for investors that have really
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive move. I know he's supposed to be a protagonist and everything, but man, enough's enough. What's Trace doing? Trace. Yeah, we just pulled back sideways.
Clients that we're onboarding that have missed the market for whatever reason, because you know indecision is a killer of returns, and so is inflation. We're building portfolios that are well allocated across what I call the idea maturity time horizon, because we're also not only are we at all-time highs, but we have all-time correlations happening in the market. And so this principle, the mathematics of diversification, are also stretch. And I think that's where your bubble folks accelerate and consolidate very rapidly over the next few years. You don't want investors to miss that.
No, but you have to be cognizant of what you think is already in the prices of some of these stocks, and they've already gone up so much. The numbers are so large, both in returns and in investment from these companies. It needs to pay off.
Well, you heard that 2 years ago in 2022 when people were looking at the PE ratios of a lot of what now we're calling the AI innovator stocks and going, wow, these are stratospheric type PEs. And what happened was the earnings came through and we saw the PEs go down. And so for even you don't want to get too myopically focused on PE ratios in these radical moments of innovation, because the trend could be a J curve at the end, this explosive sort of setup. And that doesn't mean that everything you should have should be an AI, or that you've got to get every last penny off the table in terms of your returns, which is why I also suggest that, you know, that right now in a fast market, like your best friend is rebalancing. I mean, you should have a strategy that has bandwidth, that has an allocation, that you're taking money off the table, reladdering it into a portfolio in a way that you're not too skis in any one moment.
You like what's largely.
That's all that CNBC has been talking about this week, is how AI is in a bubble. Is AI in a bubble? I mean, the way they keep talking, no one's going to want to invest, at least the uneducated investor.
That is, I think, and liquidity. It's one of the most crucial ingredients to be able to capitalize on radicalized moments of change, which is what we're in right now. And that's why I like
I don't know.
caps.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sherry, thanks. Sherry Paul, Morgan Stanley. Up next, we track the biggest movers into the close today. Christina Partsinevelos standing by with that. Hi there.
Hi. Well, we have a rare earth miner surging on government talks. A major retailer gets hit with a downgrade, and an EV maker, guess who, drops a cryptic hint. We've got those stock movers next.
Sector Sort is sponsored by.
Can't believe I sold Nano Nuclear. Can't believe I sold it. Damn it, Janet. I still have Nukes and UKZ, and I have some Oklo. Oklo's looking pretty good. Oklo, I have November calls, so Oklo is going to more than likely see a lot more upside. Oklo. Okay. Oklo looking good. They were talking about AMD and OpenAI this morning, that they would need like 2 or 3 of these portable reactors or nuclear reactors to provide all the electricity that they're going to need. We all know that. So who's the best suited to do it? Oklo or SMR? SMR. Faded. SMR. Nano Nuclear had a big pop today. I sold this one last week. That happens. That happens.
I'm your host, Joe Pompliano, and I'll be breaking down the financial side of the game for your financial team. We'll go beyond the headlines, analyzing all
Bitcoin. Okay, a little bit off the high today, but definitely looking good. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Okay, looking very strong. Volume looks good. Stocks like IBIT, ETFs, IBIT, BITO, BITX, Big Bear AI, jumping around here. Big Bear AI. What's Circle doing? Circle, nothing. CoreWeave, CRWV. Okay. Applied Digital, making a new high. Applied Digital. Microsoft had a good day today. Microsoft closing at the highs of the day. Microsoft, that's a beautiful Maribozu candle.
Streaming platform and wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, Blake Anderson here to show you the Veggie Vortex, the 3-in-1 slicer, shredder, and sanity saver that spins veggies. Scan the code on your screen now and get yours with this special TV offer. Because this kitchen marvel is pure magic. Watch this. Potatoes, chips in seconds. Hash browns so fast, Pancake House is going to start calling you for tips. Order up. Cucumbers, perfect slices for salads, sandwiches, or slap them on for a quick spot. Ready to really go nuts? The Veggie Vortex chews through nuts like an overcaffeinated. Can someone say cheese? Look at that perfect pizza in seconds. This thing's fire.
Okay, more selling here.
Big Thanksgiving. 3 stainless steel jars. Slicer, coarse and fine shredding. BPA-free plastic, dishwasher safe. The Veggie Vortex will turn mealtime into fun time every time. It's something to help your cooking with the Veggie Vortex. Scan the code on your screen.
Stay tuned. A special free offer for Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters with 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery. The Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen, order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. This is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
All right, so we respected the supply overhead 67.50, 67.60. You can see price action could not get through that level. Hedge flows turned back down.
The firm citing a hangover effect related to outsized promotional activity in the first half of the year, and that's why JP Morgan slashed their price target to $103 from $145, sending shares almost 8% lower. Then you got, did you guess it, Tesla? That was the name of the company, the EV one. Shares popping after the company posted a teaser video on X yesterday. The video ends with the date 10-7, indicating an announcement tomorrow. That'll be October 7th. Speculation is that the EV maker is gearing up to release a new car, and that's why you're seeing shares up almost 5%. And last but not least, this is new. Shares of AppLovin falling right now as we head into the close after Bloomberg reported that the company has been probed by the SEC over data collection practices. Shares are plunging now 17%, Scott, and this news just came out.
Correct. Yeah, thank you for that, Christina Partsinevelos. Coming up next, what to watch for when Constellation Brands reports in overtime. Plus, JP Morgan Asset Management's Mira Pandit. She is standing by at Post 9 with her own market playbook. We'll do that in the zone next.
Okay. We've got 11 minutes to go for the regular session. Looking forward to it. Tesla. All right. Riot. Tesla. Nice rally. Nice rally day. All right. It's been pretty good. Not the best of days. Not like a couple of days we had last week and the week before that. We had some really crazy rallies. But I'll take it. S&P looks good. Starting off a 10th week higher. Okay, so not complaining. The trend is still very strong. We don't even have anything like what we had 2 weeks ago, where we just shy of 6,700. We faded for 3 days back to the 21-day, then bounced. We're up here at the highs. I don't want to buy up here, but volume looks good too. Junk bonds, not giving us a sell signal. Okay, these are risky assets inside day. IWM rising is a bullish risk on signal. It would have to drop through the 9 and 21 day to get risk off on IWM. IBB, XBI, damn it, I hate this new interface. IBB, biotechs, taking a breather. XBI for the S&P 500. Biotech ETF, that looks good. And Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin's a risky asset class. So if these are moving higher, very difficult to get too bearish. The 10-year yield. The 10-year yield did bounce today. Okay. Doji, long-legged Doji. 50 days right overhead. This is fair value in this area. Fair value neutral, 10-year yield. The New York FANGs, okay, the New York FANG index, okay, still range bound. So this is neutral. Neutral bullish. You got RSI above 50. MACD's fading a bit as a function of price. Stochastics turning up, telling you to look for closes in the upper half of the daily range. Daily range is pretty narrow at the moment. Let's see. Tesla, nice. Meta with a hammer today. Meta. Nice hammer on Meta. Do we follow through tomorrow? We'll find out. Stochastics turning. MACD could turn as a function of price. RSI rise. Apple turning. It's sitting at the highs for the past 9-10 trading days. Apple. AMD, of course. Big gap up.
I think it mostly tells you where the field position is. We've already priced in a lot. The index has definitely been churning.
Leaders, Tesla, Nvidia, Datadog. Datadog, let's take a look at that. Datadog. Nice little cup pattern. A cup handle. We dipped again. This is a first stage base right here. First stage base. Datadog. I'll take a look at it tomorrow. I'm not going to buy it this time of day. Datadog looks good. DoorDash, if you like the whole DoorDash Uber ethos, these look really good. DoorDash, Clack, Palantir. Inside day on Palantir. The rule here, Palantir, the rule here is whatever direction this takes tomorrow, if it takes a move to the upside, you go long. If it takes the move to the downside, you go short. This is a short-term strategy over the next few days, okay? Palantir inside day. PayPal we talked about, PayPal. Turning the corner, PayPal. ARM Holdings. ARM Holdings. LRCX, Lam Research. Oracle. Looking okay. Oracle sitting there. UNH, United Health. Trending 921.50 day. At this rate, we'll probably be at 400 by maybe November. November, we'll probably be testing the 200 day. So UNH working. Okay. So UNH, you all know this. You all know this. Okay. So phase 4 is the downtrend. Phase 4 is the downtrend. Phase 1 is the accumulation. The moving averages flatten out. And phase 2 is the move when 921.50 turn up and to the right. Distribution, that's phase 3 over on the left. This is distribution. And then we drop below the 50 day. That starts phase 4. Phase 1, accumulation. Phase 2, we're currently in phase 2. The markup period, looking for United Health to continue to move higher. And these healthcare stocks have been looking really good last week. Healthcare, XLV, XLU. Fixed income investors will be flocking to XLU, have been looking for yield. Okay, we've got 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go.
That is a good sign of the health here, but I do pay attention to some of these circular announcements. Sounds like there's a lot of again that circular economy here between some of these big tech names. So we want to make sure the way that we're assessing these companies
Oklo
and we don't start sliding
looks good. Oklo.
of future deals that may or may not
Oklo. MicroStrategy. Strategy above the 50 day, above the 200 day. Coinbase, want to plan on buying some Coinbase tomorrow, most likely. CONL. All right, so we got 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. NVIDIA, no follow through today. NVIDIA didn't do much of anything today. NVIDIA, Doji at the 9 EMA. Be nice to see this pop tomorrow. Tesla, TSLL, got shares, I got calls. This looks good.
And so we're certainly seeing that broadening out of AI into areas like industrials and utilities, but we're also seeing beyond that other names doing well. And it's not just
Okay, one more time, just want to reiterate. Just want to reiterate that all these stocks, some of the ones that we trade recently, all of these stocks in the right-hand side are expensive. Call skews are very high. Okay, if you look at Oracle, let's go Oracle and see volatility dashboard, Oracle, ORCL. Okay, volatility skew. You can see we're tilted up to the right. Not as bad as some, like IONQ.
The global markets are suggesting there's this kind of reflationary, reaccelerationary theme going on.
Microsoft.
Emerging markets is really kind of
Microsoft fairly cheap.
I mean, Korea is 1/3. Samsung and SK Hynix, it's in the
Okay, so these stocks that are on the far right, consider them expensive. The ones on the left, like NVIDIA, risk reversal of 11%. So buying call spreads makes a lot of sense here. Okay. Call spreads on, and actually NVIDIA. What do I want to do with NVIDIA? It's too late in the day, but I would like to buy some NVIDIA. I have some NVIDIA already. Maybe we'll get a bounce tomorrow. Okay. Take a few things off here. NVIDIA.
It's really hard to pull the investors off of the idea. The Fed is leaning lower into what might be the makings of a reflationary trend.
Yeah, like everybody's cutting rates. So the first central bank to hike versus the first hyperscaler to cut their spending outlook. We'll weigh which is going to be the end of this whole party. I don't know. How are you thinking about that, though? Some of the risks that do stand out there to say, okay, maybe it's time to take a breather.
When I think about the economy overall, I would say when we think about growth in particular,
Tesla at the high of the day. Tesla.
From an inflation standpoint, if you think about tariffs folding in here, sometimes that can be a bit of a transitory factor. Whereas labor
You can see Palantir's down here. Buy call spreads makes sense. Robinhood, even though it's at highs, call spreads, MicroStrategy, same thing. All these look pretty good. All right, folks. That's a wrap for me. Hope everyone had a good day. I'm your host, Cousin Vinny, coming to you from theclosingprint.com. At the closing bell, October the 6th, Monday. Looking for Tesla tomorrow. Don't forget it trades 24/5, so you can trade it after hours and beyond the 8 o'clock hour. So if you got, maybe you bought some shares today, TSLL or TSLA, you can always trade those after hours. All right, so looks pretty good. Let me just check one thing before we call it a day. Let's take a look at the watch list, see how it did. Watch list for the week, October 5th. Let's sort these by performance. Okay, you can see who did what today. Riot had a pretty good day. Riot moved above the 20 level. That's what we were looking for all this time. Riot finally got the breakout. On the watch list, Clean Spark, another one. Okay, Clean Spark breaking out from the watch list. Oster, robotics, and was it LiDAR? Radar for EVs and such. Oster pushed back above the 50-day. Much like we saw with Microsoft. Microsoft pushed back above the 50-day, and we have this big day. So we're looking for a follow-through day in Microsoft tomorrow. I think the shorts are probably getting out of the way. Anyway, the watch list looks good. A lot of these stocks look good. Joby Aviation. Joby Aviation following through. Cheap $19, $20 stock. Looks good. Joby Aviation. TVTX, Travere Therapeutics. That had a good day today. Squeeze breaking higher. Tesla, of course. SoFi bouncing off of the 50-day. A little bit off the high of the day. Looking for a follow-through day tomorrow. So check out the watch list. And remember, we'll be here bright and early tomorrow, 9:15, for the play-by-play. Have a great evening. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.